Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NBA and the NFL. I got a brand new video for you, ladies and gentlemen. But before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, first time here, never ever seen any of my NBA or NFL lineup advice videos, the only thing you have to do to be a part of the DFS Zone community, ladies and gentlemen, is to subscribe down below and make sure you put on your bell icon, that bell icon right next to the subscribe button on the right-hand side. Make sure you click on that and turn that on. So this way you don't miss out when I put up a new NFL or NBA lineup advice video when it gets posted. All right. With that being said, today's Friday. It is December the 14th, 2018, and we have a 9-game slate in the association. I am very pressed for time today, so I'm going to feel it's going to be a little choppy, a little quicker, the video. I know some of you probably like that, some of you won't, but I'll be as quick as I can to give you the best information possible and let you know what I think are the best possible plays. They are, last night, terrible night for me. I think 3 out of the 5 plays that I had. The only one who really came through was Mr. Harden, but I'm not going to go through it right now because of the press of time. So again, the beauty about DFS, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you have a bad night, you always got the very next night to redeem yourself, and that's what I plan to do today. So let's get right to it. At point guard today, at the top, we have Russell Westbrook. I love this game. I look forward to watching this game today, as well as the Golden State-Sacramento game. I think those are the two most exciting games, at least for me as a fan and a DFS player, that I'm looking forward to watching today. And thank goodness they're all in the evening, late night, so it's a nice Friday night to be able to stay up and watch some games. Attacking the point guards today, man, I love Russell Westbrook. I'd be totally honest with you. I think at 11K 55, I think he's going to smash over 55 in this game. Denver has been tough all year long, but you got Jamal Murray. I think it's questionable. Yes, he is. He's game time decision right now, so that's going to hurt them. Not only that, even if Murray is playing, I have no problem with that. I think Westbrook is in a good spot here. So again, I'm going to have a lot of exposure to Westbrook, and I advise you guys to do the same. There are some other plays here that I do like, and I'll touch upon them real quickly right after. But Westbrook is my guy. I mean, first things first, you're looking at him. You need 55 to meet value here. He is 10,800 on DK, so you need 54 there. He's triple-double any given night. He's easily a double-double pretty much every given night. 22, 10, and 10, 52 fantasy points per game. And last couple of games, a little bit on the downside the last 2 games, but again, still being able to put enough points up on the board. Even this game here where he put only 39 fantasy points, he did have a triple-double. So definitely there was some bonus points gain there for you guys that play mostly on DK. I play only very little on DK, but again, that's an opportunity there. With a guy like this in your lineup, you're definitely going to be always in a good situation depending on his price tag. But we come over here to the cruncher, and we know pretty much what we're getting. We are getting one of the top players in the league, so I'm not too concerned with that. I love the fact is that he's going to get his minutes. We know he's going to get his usage. It's up there, way up there, about 31 to 32% on average on a given day. If he's shooting the ball well, he's going to be great. And when he's shooting terribly, obviously the beauty of him is that when he's not shooting that well, he'll go out and at least get you the rebounds and the assists and make sure that he gets busy in those areas. And then he's also a pretty decent defender. As you can see, last game out, 4 steals and 2 blocks. Even though he only put up 48, he did put up these nice numbers as far as fantasy point bonuses for us, which is the steals and blocks with 3 points apiece here on Fanduel. So you cannot go wrong with Russell Westbrook. His home and away splits have been pretty darn good. 46% field goal percentage, 27% from 3, which is not good at all. He is not a great 3-point shooter, but 10 rebounds a game, 3 steals, and 22 points per game on the road this year per game, and 57 fantasy points, which is more than what he needs tonight. Which I believe he's going to get at least 60 or better. I really do. He is capable. If his shots are going down, he could put up like 30 fantasy points, 40 fantasy points in the first half. So, I mean, very, very dangerous, he is. And again, Denver, you just got to take advantage of. Denver has been solid. Got to give Denver a lot of credit. They've been tough with everybody, even with all the injuries they have. Even without Harris, even without Barton, even now without Paul Millsap, they're still competing. They are going to compete. I think today is a game. It's a day that it may be a tough game for Denver. They're going to need a whole lot of Jokic today, to be able to stay in this game, and they're going to need Murray to come here and hopefully play and be able to play well. So again, I do love the matchup. I think he's in a great spot here. One game against Denver this year, he did put up 39 minutes. And it wasn't the greatest game. He put up 45 fantasy points. He only shot 26% from the 26% field goal percentage. He didn't shoot particularly well in that game, but he did have at least, he still went ahead. As you can see, 6 of 23 and 1 of 12. It was a horrible shooting day for him. Still had 30% usage rate. And on top of that, he got the 10 rebounds and the 12 assists and got 1 steal. And that's the only reason why he was able to accumulate 45 fantasy points. But that's what he brings to the table, folks. So, but look at what he's done in the past. Last year, over 66 fantasy points in 3 out of the 4 games, and then the year prior to that, 69, pretty much 70, 72, and 84. So again, very, very good spot for Mr. Russell Westbrook. Coming in here, Denver allowing 20. They are 7th in defending. As you can see, 7th in defending point guards. They're allowing 26.4 fantasy points per game in the last 5 games. They did give up 41 to Kemba Walker, 34 to Connolly, and 34 to Lowry over that same stretch of those 5 games. All right, so I mean, they have given up some points. I do like him here, Russell Westbrook in play. Other than him, man, you could favor, if there is no Jimmy Butler. Obviously, there's a bump for Simmons, but I prefer maybe considering Jimmy Butler, TJ McConnell, or Mr. Kochmaz. But over here, Kemba Walker definitely in play against the Knicks. 9,500 is right around his price range. We always favor him, especially at home. So he is someone to consider there. You could go with Curry here in this game, in a fast-paced game, paced-up game against Sacramento, but I kind of be willing to pay down and not play. I really like the Sacramento players more and their price tags. Come down here, Kyle Lowry. If there's no Kawhi Leonard, unfortunately, that game starts at 10 p.m., so it's going to be hard to gauge unless you're playing the after hours, which is those 3 games at 10. Then that'll be a good bet. If Kawhi Leonard is out, definitely Kyle Lowry is in play. But right now, it's tough to pencil him in at 7 o'clock on the main slate. But he would be an option. I definitely love here, if you're not willing to pay up for Russell Westbrook, I love Bledsoe here in this matchup against Cleveland, and I do love De'Aaron Fox. I think those 2 guys are definitely in play. You got to consider Moutier here as well for New York. They're banged up. There's no Trier. There is no Damian Dotson. So they're really, so it's him, Frank Ntilikina, and, of course, Timmy Hardaway. They're going to have to put up the bulk of the shots offensively for the Knickerbockers tonight. So he is someone in play. And of course, like I said, TJ McConnell, definitely like McConnell here. He's been getting a ton of minutes, been getting some usage with Jimmy Butler out. All right, a shooting guard, Victor Oladipo is definitely someone to consider, but I mean, I'm not going up that price, for him just yet. I know he just came back. I'll wait a few games, even though he is priced very well here for you guys to jump on board. Bradley Beal, usually if it's Beal or Wall, I think in this matchup today I'll prefer more Wall than Beal, but I'm not going to be on either one of the 2 today. Jimmy Butler, of course, the news, if he is out, then you got to look at Mr. Kochmaz. Yeah, Kochmaz right here, Furkan Kochmaz, or you can definitely consider TJ McConnell as a bump. But I'm coming all the way down. I really do like Timmy Hardaway Jr. at 6,900. He's going to get a ton of usage, going to get a lot of shots. The ball revolves around him, so he's one. But I definitely like Klay Thompson even more so because I really love the Golden State-Sacramento game. So I want to have some exposure there. Klay Thompson, 6,800. You need 34 here. On DK, 6,200. You need 31 there. He's averaging 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 33 fantasy points per game. Last few games, what I like is the minutes are there, 31 plus. Let's come over here to the cruncher, and we go to Mr. Klay Thompson. And again, a little choppy here the last few games, but what I like is his price range doesn't really he's come down in price after he put up a 50 spot. 32 and 24, it's quite all right. I'm not even concerned. What I like to see is if his minutes are still there and his usage is high. And as you can see, he is still getting 34 plus minutes in the last 3 games, even while he was, and the whole point was obviously he was not shooting as well. 7 of 17, 8 of 22, 8 of 16. But when he is shooting well, he's a perfect GPP play. We always know that. We always talk about that. We've said it before, even last year, that he's a guy that you play. I'm a GPP player. I definitely like the matchup. I think today could be and the beauty of it is that him, Curry, and Kevin Durant have all been able to get 18, 19, 20 shots a game off each. So these guys really pick it up. They are a faster-paced team when they have everybody on the fold, including Draymond Green is in this game. So it's going to be a very, very nice game. I think he's going to have an excellent opportunity here. He's shooting pretty much 46%. Field goal percentage at home. He is slightly better at home, but a 38% field goal for 3-point shooting, 23 points per game, and at 34 fantasy points per game at home. Not too bad versus Sacramento. He did play 36 minutes the first time out this year in their first game, which is right here, and he put up a 34 spot. 30 and 30. He put up 31 points from the floor and pretty much 38 fantasy points in that ball game. Again, a lot of shots taken off. Again, this was a game without Steph Curry, so that's why he took a few more shots. I still expect him to take 17 to as much as 19 shots again today. I love the matchup. I think it's a great spot. Sacramento's coming in here 28th in defending shooting guards, and they're allowing 26, pretty much 25.8, 26 fantasy points per game. Last couple of games, they gave up 31 to Wiggins, 28 to Levine, and 29 to Bridges of Phoenix. So I think Klay Thompson, if he can get rolling and get a shot off early, he can be a very, very interesting play here at 6,800 in this, paced up game. I definitely like Klay. All right. Like I said, I do like a few of those other guys. Dennis Schroeder, I definitely like him here coming off the bench against Denver. And, you got to consider Marcus Smart with injuries to Boston. And then you got to consider Morris and Mr. Beasley also for Denver in that matchup. So you got some value there. All right. Small forward. At small forward, if you're not on Russell, you got to consider Paul George. You just have to. He's been shooting well. I said to myself, I'm not going to touch anybody on Denver. I just got a feeling that tonight is going to be one of those nights that OKC is going to definitely dominate, just due to the fact that they have so many injuries, and these are two powerful weapons they got in PG-13 and Westbrook for OKC, and he's been playing so well lately. 50, 49, 44, 44 plus in 3 straight games. His minutes are there, over 32 minutes pretty much on average a game. You come over here, see Paul George, and as you can see, he had a 72 spot smacked in between these 44 plus over the last 4 games. The usage rate is up. He's at about maybe 27, 28% on average. And then look at the shots. He's getting more than enough shots. He's the second offensive threat for this team, but he is very much involved in the offense. Pretty much about maybe, say, 17, 18 shots a game, and he's taking about 6 or 7 threes a game on average as well. And he's aggressive. He gets to the foul line, and he's an excellent free throw shooter. And, of course, he brings all the other, bonus things that we love to see on players. He could rebound. He could dish out some assists. He does turn over the ball quite a little bit, not so much so as Russell Westbrook, but he brings the defense. 2 steals, 4. So he's had 10 steals in that 10-game stretch in the last 3 games alone. So he's been excellent. All right. And on top of that, let's see, did he play against Denver this year? He put up a 55 spot against Denver the first time out. Okay, so far this year. His shooting in this particular game, 39 minutes, 8 of 21 shooting, 38% from the floor, 3 of 6 from 3, 50%. Had 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. So he had a lot of big fantasy point totals there for us. 24 points from the floor and 54 fantasy points. Total 55 fantasy points as you see there. And on top of that, at home, he's pretty good, man. He's a much better shooter at home, but away so far this year, 40% field goal percentage, 32% from 3, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals on average on the road, 23 points per game and 47 fantasy points. And basically tonight at 9,600, you need 47, and 9,100 on DK, you need 41. He is right there in the ballpark. Denver coming in, they're 9th, as you can see here, in defending small forwards. They're allowing 23.4 fantasy points per game to small forwards over the last 5 games, which is pretty darn good, but they have not faced somebody in the top tier level as Paul George. Kyle Anderson recently put up 24. Kevin Huerter of Atlanta put up 24. Batum of Charlotte 16. Simmons only 3 for Orlando, and 10 from Harkless and 37 from Kawhi Leonard in a game where Kawhi did not shoot as well. So Paul George, definitely going to keep riding the wave with Paul George. If you're not on Westbrook, definitely pay down and take Paul George here at small forward. There are some, I'm not really love a lot of the small forwards today, but if you're going to come down here, you're going to have, Miami has a lot of injuries, a lot of game time decisions. There's going to be some value there. You got to stay on top of that, man. I can't really discuss it much, but Winslow's here is a game-time decision with a calf, so there's going to be some value opening up for sure in that Miami game against Memphis. But if Otto Porter's out, you got to consider Oubre. You got to consider Jeff Green. There's going to be some opportunities there if Otto Porter's out. I'm not too high on the small forwards of tonight, but that's pretty much where I'm at. Let's go to power forward. At power forward, I am loving here. I'm not going to love a whole lot of guys here, but Ibaka and Draymond Green are the top 2 for me. And then if you're going to come down and pay down, you got to consider Sabonis here. I know Thaddeus Young has been on fire, but I got a feeling tonight is the night that Sabonis is going to be in play against Philadelphia. I think he's going to have the bigger game. A lot of people are going to be probably on Thaddeus Young at that price tag. You got to consider Markieff Morris, especially if there's no Porter, and you got to consider here Mr. Kevin Knox, the young rookie of the Knicks. He's been playing very well, been slapped in there. He's been put in the starting position now, and then you got to consider Trey Lyles for Denver. So there are a couple of guys down there that you could pay off for, but I am going to go with Serge Ibaka here. No Valanciunas. He is out with that thumb injury. He's going to have surgery, and Mr. Ibaka is going to definitely be put in play. Now, granted, he's got to go up against Nurkic today. Not the easiest matchup, but I think he is athletic enough to be able to do well here. And on top of that, Toronto's just a good damn team, man. Plain and simple. Coming in here, 17 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 31, pretty much 32 fantasy points per game at 6,800. You need about 34 from him on DK. He's 6,300. You need 31. He's averaging 32. He comes in here 3 straight games at 44 plus. 44 plus fantasy points in 3 straight games. Let me just pull him up over here. Really, really solid. I'm going to base him more on what he's doing right here. And his price tag just went up about $400, which is okay. It's understandable as well as he's been playing. Still just slightly below his average, which is good. Minutes are there. He's getting about maybe 26, 27 minutes a game, maybe even 28 minutes a game. Usage rate, 24, 25% on average. And then you come over here, last 3 games, he's been shooting the ball like crazy. And now he's going to get a bump in minutes, a bump in usage, and he's going to have to take more shots. And he's also playing underneath the boards. He's going to get more rebounds, more putbacks, more opportunities for blocks, which he's very good at. So Serge Ibaka, I definitely really like here at that $6,800 price tag. He's a decent, he could hit the occasional three. He's a decent free throw shooter. We know what he brings to the table. He brings the rebounding and he brings the blocks, and he has the occasional steals. Look at this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks in the last 4 games. So Serge Ibaka in a good spot here against Portland. Home and away splits. He is at 57% field goal percentage, 28% from 3. We're not expecting a whole lot from him there. 7 rebounds, 1.5 blocks per game on average, 18 points and 33 fantasy points on the road this year. So I expect him to do okay here. Portland is 14th in defending power forwards, and I also got the information 13th in defending centers, because we know that Ibaka is going to play the 5. Power forwards have been pulling in 29.5 fantasy points per game over the last 5 games against these guys. Jackson put up 31, Gibson 23, Doncic put up 34 over the last 5. So I mean, the only big game they gave it to a power forward thus far in at least in the last 7 games. 7 games back on November 30th, they gave up 49 to Paul Millsap. So I would think Ibaka is in a good position here to be able to get us the 37 or better that we need here. As a GPP play, I need him to get me 47 or better. If he can do that, and I believe he can, it's going to be solid. Draymond Green definitely in play for me. Like I said, I think you got to always consider Marcus Morris, but his price tag is up there. Same thing with Bagley. He had a good game against Golden State the last time out, but there was no Draymond Green, so it's a totally different story there. Like I said, I do like Sabonis here, and you can definitely consider Markieff Morris or Kevin Knox down here as well as Mr. Lyles. And then, of course, you can't forget, Daniel may get some minutes there, but I think it's more Aaron Baines. At center for me, man, I mean, wow, this is a tough one, man, because Embiid, Jokic, Jokic is in a good spot, but 10,000, he's going to need to do a whole lot today for them to stay close in this game. I expect him to be, very, very active today. He may be able to hit 50 today against OKC. I'm just not willing to take that chance. I do like Nurkic here against Toronto going up against Ibaka, so he is someone that I'm going to consider. I will have maybe a little exposure to Jokic and a little bit of Nurkic. I'm going to come all the way down and save some money. I'm going to go with Willie Cauley-Stein here against Golden State. Still, they don't have Boogie Cousins yet, and I like the whole idea of him going up against this team. 14 points, pretty much 8 rebounds, 3 assists a game, 31.6 fantasy points. He's 7,000. You need pretty much 35. And he is 6,400 on DK. You only really need about 32 to me value there, which is about his average. All right. We come over here to the cruncher, and, he's not going to blow us away. I just like the whole idea of the matchup. Paced up game. He's a guy that moves up and down the floor very, very well for a guy. He's very, he's athletic. He's lean. He's not one of these bigger muscular centers. And he's been playing very well the last 2 games, solid, 36 and 42 fantasy points. Granted, it was against Chicago and Minnesota, but 27 or more minutes per game. He's getting more shots. In the last 3 games, he's put up about 11 shots on average between the 3 games. And, he gets to the foul line a little bit, not a whole lot, but what he brings to the table is the rebounding, and he brings the blocks. He'll bring blocks and steals, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, he's had about 11 blocks over the 11 steals, over the last 7 or 8 games. So he's pretty consistent in getting at least a steal a game, and he's capable of getting you some blocks. I like the whole idea here of him. His usage rate is at 21, 22%, and that's pretty good. And the bottom line is that he can get us those extras with the steals. I just like the matchup. Golden State Warriors, no Boogie Cousins. I mean, at this point yet, you want to get some sort of price tag here at center where you can be able to pay up to get maybe a Paul and to get a Westbrook. I think this is an option here with Willie Cauley-Stein. His home and away splits at home, 52% field goal percentage, averaging 10 rebounds and 35 fantasy points per game is pretty solid. Versus Golden State, they played earlier this year. He did only play 19 minutes in that game. He did get into foul trouble in that game, and obviously that's probably one of the reasons why his minutes were extremely high. Only played 20 minutes, did have 20% usage in those 20 minutes, did get 9 shots off, only shot 3 of 9 from the floor. So, I mean, it wasn't a great game for him. He only put up 18.3 fantasy points. But again, that was then, and right now he is playing fairly well. And what I also feel is that right now the team Sacramento is at a point where they have a better understanding of how their offense is flowing and who is playing well with one another, and he plays well with all these guys on the floor. So I like Stein here. I really do. Golden State is 8th in defending centers. They're allowing, as of late, in the last 5 games, 38 fantasy points per game, which is another reason why I love the chances that Willie Cauley-Stein is having here. In the last 5 games, last game out, Ibaka put up 44 against them. The game before that, Towns 49. The one before that, Brook Lopez 23. Tristan Thompson 4 games back put up 41, and Dwayne Dedmon put 35 in the 5th game back. So over the course of the last 5 games, they've been lighting them up for a huge amount of fantasy points, nearly almost 39, 40, pretty much on average throughout the whole course of the last 5 games. So I see, I don't want a whole lot from Willie Cauley. I want him to just get me to the 40 plus line. If he could get me 40 plus there at $7,000, that's fantastic. And for those guys to play him on DK, 6,700, you only need 34, man. He gets you 40 to 45. He has exceeded value. He has definitely paid off well for you. So again, Willie Cauley-Stein in play for me. I do like I said, I do like Jokic here and Nurkic as well. And those are the only guys that I will be playing, but I'm willing to pay down here and give you guys Cauley-Stein. I think he could be a solid side play. You want to go down even cheaper, you definitely got to have some consideration of Mason Plumlee. He gets at least 18 to 20 minutes, maybe more depending on the game flow for Denver. And Cody Zeller against the Knicks, he put up 35, 36 the first time around. He may be someone to consider as well, so definitely keep him in mind. And that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's a little choppy, a little too quick, but I needed to get something out to you guys. I'm pressed for time. I got a couple of things I got to do, and I was busy earlier. But again, I wish you guys a lot of luck tonight, man. Again, drop a like. Of course, and if you're new to the channel, you have not subscribed as of yet, please do so down below, and make sure you put on that bell icon, turn it on, so this way you don't miss out on those NBA and NFL videos. The NFL video will be out later on tonight or early tomorrow morning for week 15 of the NFL, so look for that, and I'll be back tomorrow with tomorrow night's slate. All right, everybody have a good day.